Welcome back to the Sons of Anarchy prediction show with Toph and AJ.
I'm Toph.
And I'm AJ.
And it's Halloween!
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. But you know what? That's not what we're here for. Or this brand new set. Let's get this started off with
the recap. And it all starts off with Jax doting on Tara. He says, I don't give a care what happens to Gemma. And when he leaves to take care of some club business, Unser shows up and sees that Tara lay low.
Yeah, and he calls her out because he totally knows what's going on. And he's like, I can't help you anymore. You broke my heart, bitch! I can't believe how wrong you turned out just trying to do what you thought was right.
Shortly after Unser left, Lowen shows up, and she tries to call out Tara, but Tara says nah to every single one of her attempts, essentially saying, here's your check, see yourself out.
Yeah, but it looked like it affected Tara a little bit more than she was leading on, because she had some little mini meltdown in the bathroom, like staring at herself all crazy. Stop it! You stop it!
So Tara goes to the candy shop looking for Jax. Instead, finds Bobby and a little JJJ. Later she asks him, hey, do you think Jax can really move Sam Crow into legitimate business?
You know, I really don't know. What I do know is that he can't do this without you.
And at the end of the night, Jax and Tara go home together to put their kids to bed.
Yeah, well, the Prez opens up to his old lady and says that he's never felt so far apart from her. Tara, can I please get us back to where we were? Please? Please?
So Roosevelt asks Gemma for her side of the story. She says, although it's Tara's word against my own, Roosevelt insists for her statement either way.
Yeah, so she fills him in about Tara's plan with Wendy and Margaret, who just so happen to be the only eyewitnesses in the alleged assault.
And she also tells him that she was baited, hit, and that Tara slammed her own stomach into the table. The kicker is, she doesn't even think Tara was ever pregnant.
Yeah, and she must have sold Eli pretty hard, because he went and told Unser that he's pretty sure that Tara did in fact frame Gemma just to get the kids away from Gemma.
Unser lets it slip that Tara's not going to be pressing any charges, but he also tells him, you might want to let the family deal with this one.
Yeah, and before Unser leaves, he lets the LT know that the difficulty about removing Sam Crow from Charming is that as soon as you do, it all starts to unravel.
Unser drives Gemma home and asks, what did Eli say? She said that he told her that Tara's not going to be pressing charges, and he said he's going to continue with an investigation.
So she asks Unser, hey, I may not deserve it, but I want the truth from you. Did you know what was going on? He's like, yeah, I don't know shit. All I know is that Tara's doing what she got to do to protect these children.
And when she interrupts to say, I know I was framed, Unser says, your control is unhealthy, and you've lost sight of the love in your heart because of the lies and the hate.
Yeah, well, he also lets her know that she can only take one of two paths. One of them is going to be long and uncomfortable, but ultimately lead her back to the kids. The other one, well, it's the one she's already on.
Gemma heads to St. Thomas to wait for Jax, and when he arrives, she tries to tell him the truth about Tara.
Yeah, she tried, but did not succeed because Jax cut her off and said, let this burn into your brain, you psycho bitch. You're never going to see my kids or my wife ever again. As far as they're concerned, you're dead.
Wendy goes out and buys some drugs. She goes home to go do those drugs, and surprise, Gemma's there, and she wants to talk.
Yeah, and she calls Wendy out, letting her know that she knows Tara's plan, and this is her last chance to join Team Gemma. And if she does, she'll have Jax spare her life. But she ain't seeing those kids again.
So Wendy gives Gemma her gun back and also shows her the drugs and be like, hey, can you get rid of this for me too?
And Gemma says, you're going to have to get rid of those, sweetheart. I need to know that you're a trustworthy mama.
So Wendy shoots up, and all in one shot.
Ugh. Yeah, well, Jax heads over to Scoops and Sweets, and Bobby and the boys show him the bad press. The DA put in the paper that Sam Crow and the Bizlats were tied to the school shooting.
At chapel, Chibs suggests meeting with the Bizlats to make sure everybody's on the same page. Bobby's going to be doing the Cara interviews, and Juice informs everyone that the Kings are keeping Connor stateside.
Yeah, so Jax and crew meet up with the Bizlats and let them know that Nero's status and they need to keep the shit tight while he's in the pen. Chibs offers up some extra manpower and says, hey, no one breaks, no one talks.
Tig spots a suspicious vehicle, assumed to be a cop until that vehicle runs over one of the Bizlats. Oh man, they put that body in the back of the trunk, and Chibs tells Jax, get out of here, go see your wife.
Yeah, well, later on, they put an APB out on that car because it was a super particular car. Borowski's getting pounded by the DA and is like, hey kid, I need something quick. And they're like, well, we just found where this car came from. How about we give you that?
Fiasco put a hit out on that driver, and Sam Crow has to keep the Bizlats at bay until the sirens show.
Yeah, but those Bizlats are pretty sneaky because they snuck right past the boys and bust that door down and went in guns a-blazing.
So the driver comes out of nowhere with a knife and gets one of the Bizlats in the back, and then Jax headbutts him. He's out. Yeah. But everybody stopped because Jax noticed a picture of a kid, and he's like, that kid's from the school shooting.
Yeah, so Fiasco actually eases up and realizes it's a pretty dumb idea to try to kill this dude, so they pack up and get the hell out of Dodge.
So the cops show up and find the father on the ground holding a photo and a knife. They tell him to put the knife down. He stands up and stabs himself in the neck. He dies moments later, and when the DA shows up, she sees the photo in his dead hands and asks to see it.
Yeah, and that same DA earlier was pressing Nero about the deal that she offered him earlier. She said, if you don't take me up on this offer, I'm going to go find some Bizlats that are a little less loyal than you, and I'm sure they're going to narc on Sam Crow, because guess what? That's going to be a really popular get-out-of-jail-free card here in a little bit, and I won't need you at all.
Patterson runs back to see Nero because she misses him so. No, he's ready to give up the source of the KG-9.
Yeah, well, before he does that, he lets her know that my boy Lucius, he needs to be wherever the best care is going to be and closest to whatever prison I'm going to be in. Yeah, because I'm responsible for the KG-9.
He tells Patterson that he got the KG-9 from a journeyman dealer that he's never seen before, and that he gave it to Darvany for protection.
Yeah, so then the DA runs back to the sheriff's office only to find out that Tora killed Aaron the hooker. Duh.
When he asks to release Nero, the DA tells him that Nero just admitted to being the KG-9 supplier, that she also gave him a deal, and she's going to stick to her guns for the greater justice.
Well, so Eli lets the DA know that he let Gemma go for the simpler justice. Guilty or not guilty.
So the DA goes back to see Nero and gives him pictures of the dead children from the school shooting. And says, if you ever cared about these kids, you would tell me everything. The whole truth.
And also says that if he believes in the same God that she does, debts will be repaid.
Chibs and Jax meet with Borowski, and Borowski tells them that the dad killed himself, and that's on the DA, because she's the one who leaked the story.
Yeah, and before they part ways, Jax makes sure to ask Borowski, hey, what'd you do with Venus's mom? He says, what I should do to every pedophile. I chopped her up, I burned her, and I buried her. But don't worry, Prez, I won't use it against you, unless I have to.
Well, let's wrap up these recaps, because we're here for some predictions. Let's get to our first segment. Friends!
Prediction number 1. Sad to say it, but Wendy, your time is up. You ain't making it out of that chair.
Prediction 2. Lowen serves Jax with the divorce paperwork and also tells him that she can no longer represent Tara.
Prediction 3. Well, unfortunately, Borowski's going to back out on Diosa del Sur until the DA's chokehold loosens up on Jax. And let's just keep this rolling with our next segment.
Bows. Prediction 1. Gemma tells Margaret to back out from taking custody and threatens her life and career.
Prediction 2? Well, now that the DA has caught wind of World War Teller, she's going to round up Gemma and Tara and use them to press Tara harder to give up Jax and Sam Crow.
Prediction 3. The Kings are going to press Clay for information on his relationships with Galen and Jax. And that brings us to our final segment. You predicted.
Okay, well last week on You Predicted, we were talking about Nero. We knew that old school cat was not going to rat out the club. But we asked you, what information is he going to give the DA? And one of our biggest and most favorite fans, Juanita, sent in her prediction.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And she says, as far as Nero goes, I can see him putting the guns completely on his old crew. He's pretty much severed ties with them, and he is in deep with Gemma.
Yeah, he is. And AJ, I'm curious, and I think they are too, them being our fans. Where do they send us their predictions to get on the You Predicted part of the show?
Good question, Toph. Facebook.com/TophandAJ.
Oh, and if they can get it in 140 characters or less, they can send it on Twitter too.
@TophandAJ.
All right. Now, for this week's You Predicted question, poor Jax Teller. Well, he's going to be hit with some bad news. Now, when he gets that divorce paperwork in his hand from Tara, how's he going to react? You tell us.
Last week we had a special You Predicted question for the entire crew at the Watchers of Anarchy podcast.
Yeah, we asked them what they thought was going to happen with the love triangle between Jax, the IRA, and August Marks. And holy shit, did they send an awesome prediction.
It was so awesome that we posted it on our Facebook fan page. And you know what? Take a look at it. Read it. And if you get your mind going, leave your thoughts in the comments just below.
Oh, and that link, just like all the other links in all of our shows, they're all down below.
And make sure to like, favorite, and subscribe. It really helps us out a lot.
Yes, it does.
Well, that's it for us this week. Make sure to tune in next week.
Laser!